do love getting parcels from eBay, but sometimes the packaging is a bit of a nightmare to open. So, hi guys, let's get back to talking about photography. As we now know, we sort of live in a golden age of photography at the moment, and that's because of the availability to take pictures that everybody has. Now, I'm filming this on my mobile phone. Phone has a camera, takes pictures. The golden age of photography in the past was considered as film photography, somewhere between the 50s, 60s, that era. But we've moved on to now everybody has the facility to take a picture and to see it as soon as they take it. There is the old saying that a bad workman always blames his tools, which is not true with photography. Anyone can take a picture with any type of equipment. Photography seems to be more about the eye of the beholder, the person taking the image, and what they see and what they want to take the picture of. Millions and millions of photos are uploaded every single day, and this is because of the digital era and the new way in which we take pictures. And it's brilliant, I love it. In fact, everyone can take a picture, and kids, anybody, they take pictures, they see them straight away. We get mountains of them, whether we like it or not. Some people don't like the fact there's so many pictures posted nowadays. It sort of dumbs down certain areas of life. Other people think it's brilliant, and I think it's brilliant. I think the fact that you can actually document everything, take the most beautiful pictures or take the most strange or mundane everyday images, it's still a document of life. It's a document of the world, which we've had before with cameras, with film cameras, but just nowhere as much now. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, thousands of images are being uploaded. So it doesn't really matter too much about your equipment. You can have your mobile phone, compact cameras, or very expensive equipment. Now, very expensive equipment does make a difference, but it doesn't make you take any better pictures. And my interest in photography started out when I was much younger. I had compact cameras. I did a Duke of Edinburgh award at bronze level for photography. Strange enough, it didn't actually involve a lot of taking pictures. It was more of a case of developing in the dark room and enlarging, that sort of stuff. Mainly I got it from my dad. My dad took a lot of pictures as an amateur. Again, had a lot of camera equipment around the house, and that's what led me to take pictures. He had some really nice equipment, bought all the gear. We had lighting, curtains, still got some of the lighting. When my dad died, I got given my dad's cameras and lenses, and also my dad's lighting, that sort of stuff, but I don't know how to use any of that. So it's something I still need to learn about, how to take pictures at night and how to do lighting and flash photography, because I'm still absolutely useless at it, no good at all. But it did get me interested in it. My dad used to take pictures on this, which is a Pentax LX. Very, very nice cameras. Early 80s, probably late 70s, early 80s. It was a fantastic camera at the time. It was one of the only cameras that allowed it to meter throughout the shot. So you could take an image on a long exposure and it would adjust its metering before the end of the exposure, which was very rare at the time. One of the other features of this camera, which is still very, very unique and still quite unique today, it was the only camera at the time, and probably since, that allowed you to change the viewfinder. So you have different viewfinders. We had about 3 for this, or we've still got 3 viewfinders for this. So that allowed for a multitude of different shots to be taken. I took this out a few years after my dad died and took some pictures at Brands Hatch. And this is how much I didn't know how to use the camera, couldn't work out what the settings did, and didn't know at the time that I was taking it out it was actually faulty. There's a known fault with these cameras, that they get a mirror fault. So the mirror sticks down and doesn't take a very good image. I didn't realise this at the time, so I was just taking pictures willy-nilly thinking, hey, it's great, it takes a little while. Some of them came out okay, but realistically, if I'd known there was a problem with it, I would have known how to take the images. Roughly about 11 or 12 years ago, I bought my first digital SLR. Now, I had digital cameras in the meantime. Up until then, I had a really nice Kodak and had a viewfinder. And when I wanted to replace the Kodak, because the megapixels wasn't very high and the screen was very small, I didn't have much choice in the way of viewfinder cameras. Most of them had big screens, and I didn't want to take pictures on a big screen. So I decided to make a jump to an SLR. This one. Main reason I liked it was because it had a LCD screen on it, and of course it's got a big viewfinder. The other thing I wanted to experiment with a little bit with depth of field, that sort of thing. Now, having a camera like this was handy. It got me used to digital SLRs, got me used to SLRs in general. The more I learned about this, the more I could use the old-fashioned SLR. Even though it doesn't work, I've still learned a bit about it. This broke probably 3 or 4 years ago. The CCD has gone in it, doesn't work at all. Now, I couldn't afford to replace it, so being, as I said before, I've had little money, I didn't really replace it, so I just sort of went without as such. For taking pictures of the watches for my own catalogue purposes and occasionally going out on holidays and stuff like that, I had a little Sony camera, which basically has got a big dent in the front. It was very, very cheap when I bought it. It was a clearance item, discontinued, and I still use it today for taking pictures of the watches for my own purpose, not for display or anything like that. It's still quite useful, takes the right pictures. The problem is it's got a bit of a cloud in the image, so when you take images you get a cloudy spot, otherwise it will be fine. So I've also got the phone now. Of course, phones now take really good images and better images than you would have thought. And that's the thing, as I said, there's lots of images that I've seen that I really, really like. Some of them are taken on by my friends. Some of the school friends I had have taken lovely, beautiful images of, there's a Broadstairs club. They take brilliant pictures of Broadstairs and the sea. Now, most of them have got very expensive equipment. And I understand why. It's beautiful. I would love to have that if I could afford it. And their pictures look absolutely brilliant. But on the similar side, I've got friends that take pictures on their phone and still get just as fantastic an image with a phone. So it's about what you see and how you see it that makes your images best. Now, expensive equipment is useful. I've spoken before about Dan and Tom, and they have a wedding photography business. And their wedding photography business just recently posted on Facebook some images of their lenses they've got. So it's the Sigma art range, beautiful lenses, but very expensive. And they have some very, very expensive cameras. Similar to the guys that take the pictures of Broadstairs. One of the guys that I know uses a Canon 5 Mark IV, which is a really nice camera, but very expensive. I couldn't afford one. Dan and Tom, as part of their prestige photography, need these cameras for their images because they get some beautiful images, as you can see. The cameras just provide ease of use and better options. Doesn't mean the guys wouldn't be able to take the images on lesser equipment. Of course they could. You know, they're very good photographers. They can take these images on any type of camera. It's just with the cameras they've got, they get more options and more choice in what they can actually do. So this led me about 2 years ago for me to replace my camera. Eventually got round to it, had some money to buy this one. Still an SLR, still a Pentax, because I've got the Pentax lenses from my dad's old camera and new lenses I bought for myself. The main reason I bought this camera is because it's got a viewfinder, big screen, and you've got a window at the top. The other reason I like this camera over more basic, I could have gone slightly more basic in the range, but everything that I had in the menus previously on my old camera, I've now got in buttons. So I don't have to go into the menu to change the exposure fields. I don't have to go into the menu to change the focusing places. I don't have to change the ISO in the menu. It's all on a button on the top. I've also got a back focus button, which is very useful. Back focus is really good. I'm getting used to doing that now, and rear focusing seems to be really clever, a really good idea. I've also got, which was quite useful to me, although I said I still need to learn it, was a flash jack, so I can use the flash. The old camera had no flash point. Obviously you've got the hot shoe, which you've got on the other one, you've got built-in flash, but it didn't have the socket. So what's got me more thinking about this recently with this speech, it was my birthday the other day, and my mum bought me a constructor kit. Now it's a lumography kit. Now lumography I've known do 4D and 3D cameras. This is a build your own SLR. Build your own film SLR. I've still got some film left from my old cameras. None of my cameras work with used film, so once I build this, I will be able to use my film and get it developed in the old way. Luckily, having the box out for the old camera equipment my dad used to have also gives me a chance to show you that the drone seems to be having a bit of a moment, shall we say. Which is a shame because it's been getting on all right. So what do I mean by moment? Well, it seems to have lost power to one of its propellers, and which means when we want to take off, now when I first got the drone we had the issue that it would drift a little bit whilst flying and its height hold didn't work very well. But that just made it more suitable for learning with. The fact that it didn't want to keep its height hold and it kept its altitude kept increasing all the time, and the fact that it would drift, even if you calibrate it, it would still drift quite a bit. Another thing I want to talk about with photographs is image manipulation. Image manipulation with me is like one of those Marmite type of things. You either like it or you don't like it, or you can do both. You can like it and not like it in the same vein. Now, I've never been a keen fan of it as such. I've had Photoshop for ages. I started out with Photoshop 4 and then progressed right through to like CS16 and so on. And I've had other image manipulation software as well, but I mainly use them for adjusting the brightness and the contrast. Mainly brightness, and the fact that my Pentax cameras always tend to underexpose things. So you always get a slightly dull image, which they're known for, have to brighten them up a little bit. But now I can do that in the preview software on the Mac anyway, so I don't actually need Photoshop for that. Now, some of the images and the pictures you will see throughout this video, some are enhanced, some aren't. I like the images that I've seen enhanced, is why I've added them here. The reason I like some of the enhanced images is they've given a sort of an artistic look to the image and not unrealistic. The thing I don't like about Photoshop or other image manipulation programs is where somebody's trying to create an unrealistic image just because the weather's not right. So if you go out and it's a grey, horrible day, somebody turns it into a beautiful sunny day, it's not realistic. I'd rather they worked on the bad day and got some images out of that day as it was without having to fake it. So I don't like fake images that are manipulated. I also don't like the blemish removal and the model type of faking, where like the brightening people's eyes, changing their lips, their teeth and width of their face and all that sort of stuff. That's what makeup was for in modelling. So makeup can make somebody look really, really good and make somebody look different, but that person can go out and look like that every day if they want to wear that makeup. Whereas if somebody's had bits taken off of their face and made them look thinner, different chin, and all their blemishes removed in a photo editing program, they can't go out and recreate that. They'll go out in the street and say, oh, that's not the same person. Whereas if they wear makeup, they might go, well, it's the same person, different looking. So I'm not keen on the blemish software. I, as I said, tend to like the artistic views. So some images are taken really, really good. Now, the images you've seen in this video, some of them are taken on a phone. And one of the guys, and also I think a friend of mine, and a few other people on YouTube have also used, is Snapseed, which is for the phone. You can use it on a phone, or in this case, the example of it, it's on a tablet. But it's a very, very simple and easy program to use. And I'll list links to this, and I'll list links to the other programs that I use. There's a thing called On One Photos, there's Photor, there's loads of apps available. Windows 10 is brilliant for photo apps, as is the Mac operating system now with the App Store. So there's lots of things you can use to give you the arty feel. And arty feel is great. I don't mind arty feel. Arty feel pictures is just showing that somebody's got a talent for manipulating an image in a way that makes it look different, artistic. There's lots of software. I'll link to all of that. I'll link to the pictures, and I'll put some links into some other sites. There's some sites like the Pentax site that I've linked down below. The Pentax site doesn't allow for manipulation, so it's to show the cameras and the lenses. So if you look there, there are some fantastic, beautiful images, but these aren't manipulated. The most they've done is probably a bit of levels. They're not allowed to do anything else to them because it doesn't give a true representation of the cameras.
The first picture of you, the first picture of summer, seeing the